Hey, yeah. So this is going to be commentary for the seventh chapter from my book, Metadimensional. The chapter is called Segmented Aspects, which is also the name of the theory that is described in this book. Now you can read it in as an ebook on Kindle, or listen to it for free as an audiobook on Google Play, and the links are in the description. Okay, so I said this is segmented aspect is the name of the theory. So why didn't I call the book segmented aspect? Why did I call it metadimensional? Well, there are a few dumb reasons. Like for example, there is the I guess I thought it. I'm also a musician, so you don't want to. As a musician, there's this superstition that you shouldn't call an album the same as your band. You shouldn't do that, because that kind of means that, in many cases, that means that this is the only album you're gonna release. Superstition. There's also another reason, which is it's cooler. Like the segmented aspects, it fits. There's a reason why I called it segmented aspects, but metadimensional sounds cooler. Another reason is that the way the book evolved, it began as under the name extra dimensional, because I thought it would somehow be related with this term that is extra dimensional, but it ended up not having to do anything with that, or at least nothing. Not nothing, but definitely not a part of the lore surrounding extra dimensionals. Definitely nothing about that. Like it talks about it a bit, but not in a way that is would justify calling it like that. It eventually became the name metadimensional. But I still had like this intention of having this as the name, so I kind of stuck with it. But now, like, but what's the good reason? What's the better reason why? Well, it's because the theory segmented aspect is really simple. All it says is that experience is fundamental. Nothing produces it. It's causally independent. It's fundamental. And the other is that it rejects solipsism. These are the two axioms that it. This is what it brings up to the table. This is what it argues, and I would even say that like rejecting solipsism, that everybody does that. So the only thing that it actually brings to the table is that experience is fundamental. That's the only new thing. That's what the theory is, and there's so little in there that I don't think that this is just justified. Like the book itself doesn't. It's not like just repeating the same words again and again and again from it, like these two axioms again and again. What most of the book is an exercise. If you assume that experience is fundamental and you reject solipsism, then what about all these other things that we know, that I know, that are true, at least to me, and are true according to what science or physics, and are true according to biology, and you get a picture, and religion, politics. So it's not really about the theory itself, but it's more about like extrapolating from it other things. And these are the more important things, and I still think they are the more important things. Like just saying that experience is fundamental is nice, but it doesn't take you anywhere. While the book Metadimensional does take you places, but still, like, why did I call it segmented aspects? Like, what's the idea behind that? So, it's basically this. I am an experiential agent. My only contact with reality is through my perception, and in my perception, I see three classes of things, three aspects of reality. You have like physical processes that I can track. Like, for example, if I throw a ball, then the trajectory of the ball is displaying the kind of physics that makes sense, like Newtonian physics. Like if I push something, then it continues on flying zooming in the air until it falls. All this kind of stuff like makes sense to me, and I can understand what's going on when I'm looking at it. So these are some of the perceptions I have. And then I have perceptions of things that don't really make sense, but they are still obeying the laws of nature, but they really don't make sense. And if experience is fundamental, and if the thing that is producing them is somehow experienced, and you have to explain how they be so surprising. Like, for example, if you think about what the kind of stuff you can see in a science museum, that is so surprising, so unintuitive, and generally there's so much in physics that you wouldn't even imagine. Like specifically, if you think about quantum field theory and quantum entanglement and even magnetism, it gets weird, and it's not like. And there are things that happen like inside your body, my body, that I don't track, and it's not my experience that tracks them, but it still obey like regularities, like physical regularities or natural regularities, laws of nature. So if this is if my experience is fundamental, is the thing, is the first bead on the causal chain, if you want, then how can these things happen? Like there's some kind of regularity there that's somehow being maintained, but it's not being maintained by my experience and what's going on there. And then there are the things that are coming from my experience, and there is no explanation for them other than my experience. Aspects, like for example, the most notable one, the one that you cannot brush away, and that's think about self-awareness, your self-awareness. Now, if you're thinking about self-awareness, you're thinking about something that has no physical description. Like there's no physical dynamic that and there's any way to assume that it is self-awareness, like some kind of a particle hitting a particle, and then you get self-awareness. That doesn't make sense. And so it comes from experience. It's something that even if you think, even if the brain thinks about whatever, the fact that it can think about its own awareness is suggesting that there's something being injected from experience into experience, something that changes experience according to something that is unequivocally experiential. And so I have. And there are other things, but this is the most, there are other examples of that, but this is the most notable one, like, for example, emotions, love, and whatever. So I have all these aspects of reality, and they're all in my perception. It's not that any of them is physical, the objective substrate. It's not like any of them is a fundamental dimension, like I described in the previous videos about the previous chapters. So these are all just aspects of my perception, not of the physical or objective substrate, not of the things that are external to me. This is internal to me, and this is the only thing I have to investigate, to try to understand how reality works. And so this is more like a segmented aspects is a theory, like two axioms, and a methodology. How to continue and investigate reality. So the name is for that methodology is segmented aspects. Segmenting the aspects of my perception and trying to understand what I can learn about this reality by analyzing this segmentation.